Hadi Naqvi from Usdor.
Everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Unmatched Podcast. I am Hadi Naqvi, the UK's TUC Organising Award winner of 2024, using this platform to introduce not only trade unionism but also business, politics, and showing how closely all of them are intertwined with one another. And this one is actually one of my passion projects as well. I wanted to introduce someone who is well and truly unmatched. This guy has pretty much done it off of his own back and has given a platform to others as well, so that they can showcase their talent and push themselves into another area within the performing arts. Ronell Jerome. Ronell Jerome, I'm just going to read out very quickly his bio. He is the events director of Undiscovered Talent UK Limited, based in Croydon, South London, and has been doing this since 24th of February 2020. I want to make sure I get that absolutely right so the dates are there. His passion growing up was to become a professional football player, and his mum pushed him into it at a very young age when going past a youth club in Croydon. And during that period of time, he played for Crystal Palace, West Ham and Fulham youth football teams. But due to numerous injuries, his career as a professional footballer was cut short. However, he moved into the world of dance and appeared in a couple of movies and dance videos. He's done extremely well, worked part-time in another industry to support a community passion project that he had, which was Undiscovered Talent UK. And this group is set up to actually showcase talent in the world of music, dance, so anywhere in the performing arts, and they can then progress themselves further into that industry by having a platform so that they can showcase their talents. And Undiscovered UK has grown from a community base to where it's just one show a month in small town halls to a major national, I'll be right in saying that, wouldn't I? A major national event. And you know what? I've seen that happen. I have seen that growth happen myself. So all I can say is this episode of Unmatched is absolutely proud to have Ronell Jerome from UTUK on the show today. Thank you for joining me, Ronell. I think I undersold it. And we will, because I want to explore your journey, because the first things first, your mum put you towards football, and I do want to get into quite a few things to do with this, because this is to do with performing arts as an industry. I would actually say performing arts, and same with professional football, they have, yes, the potential to make a vast amount of money in a very short period of time and can have a great career. But it can also be shot down, and for 98% of people who go into these industries, they don't get to that level. So they keep going by and abiding themselves and pushing themselves as best as they can. And in your sort of situation, you went through injuries that changed your career trajectory. But tell me what actually, about you. I mean, your background. Was you born in South London, or was you... Hmm. Hey everyone, I got this massage gun from TikTok shop. I'm doing a quick review on it. So you have the gun itself, 4 different heads, and they're all worth it. Easy to fit on heads, easy to turn on, and different settings. So whatever kind of job you do, warehouse, driving, if you're coming back from the gym, hard day at work, this is ideal. And easy interchangeable. Even massaging, different muscle groups, different settings. And if you put more pressure on it, it will put more pressure on the muscle too. And this is really good value for money. I got it from the TikTok shop and you won't regret it. Costs less than £20. Compared to Amazon, over 50. So get yours on the TikTok shop today. Where I met Ronell, this is for everyone, just seeing where the mutual connection is. So where I met Ronell was through our work. We worked together and we met up just before the pandemic, and during the pandemic I'd taken on a much more stronger role as a rep because I was sick and tired of seeing, I hate to say this in this way, but you know and I know, certain types of managers that would abuse their power by not saying what the policy really was and was forcing people into harm's way. During the pandemic, we did not know what COVID was. You know, we had an idea, but we didn't understand what the impact of COVID could be, especially to our loved ones and our colleagues. And when you had certain managers putting up posters saying you must go into people's homes, well, no, because the company actually said you don't do that during COVID. They had actually come out and said that. And by doing, you know, by spreading the word out there, especially in canteen areas, Ronell heard these things and helped me to spread the word to other colleagues as well. So we protected more people by just giving the good advice. And of course that helped with my activism as well. But during that period of time, we grew a friendship and we had a mutual friend as well. Shout out to Alexander Roth, or, UK, one of the UK's premier professional wrestlers out there, would be one of the best ways of putting it, who still hasn't been given the chance to be on the big stages, but will eventually get it. He'll get there, and I think it's just down to politicking. But that's me personally saying that. But that was how we met, and I saw the genesis of Undiscovered talent come through. And when it started to take place, the pandemic kicked in. How did you cope during that period? Because you've done shows not just in Croydon, you went out to Birmingham, I think you went to Manchester as well. You've gone to a few places outside of the London area. That shows the growth of the platform that you've had. You've scaled up. And that must have brought about some more challenges because you started off with your mum and yourself. So since when you started scaling up, I take it a team had to start to develop. Hmm. Hmm. Well, there must have been, because with any kind of venture like this, when you're starting to scale up, you're going to have people that will have slightly different ways of working would be the best way. Although everyone wants to get to the same destination, the path may be slightly different that they would like to go down. That's not a bad thing. It's good to hear different options. But how did you work with people like that, manage people like that, try and keep people focused so that they would not go off on their own tangents? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because you've also had, sorry, I was going to say, you've also had sponsorship as well. I've seen a couple of people sponsor you, in terms of the shows. Well, it's great seeing how things have progressed as well. From my point of view, I've not been one of those kind of guys that if you start a business, when's it going to fail? I've always been, I hope it grows. But that's me, because I've come from that sort of background as well. But having said that, we want to all be part of a person's success story, and also to recognize the guys who. Hey content creators, this is my chance to do a quick review of a product I bought on the TikTok shop, and I think you guys are going to love it. It's a green screen disc that fits on the back of a chair. It can fit to almost any surface, and if you've got a area like a flat or a single bedroom or a bedsit where you're living in where you've got no space, this is ideal for those who are using it for things like Twitch, streaming, or just general YouTube videos. Like so. So get yours in the TikTok shop today. I'll leave the link in here. Give a platform to help others succeed too. There's nothing worse than a hater who is out there. And you must have had your fair few share of haters. How did you deal with them? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, because I remember when I would give lifts home to you, because I was that kind of guy. I enjoyed making sure that once we finished work, we would just chew the fat, get things out. You was never phased by anything, ever. And even with when you talked about your injuries that you had when you had got into from football into the world of dance, how you use that to progress yourself into other areas. And you networked. You kept on networking as much as you could to get your word out and put your details out. And it's come through full circle. Which leads to the next part, because you've been not only that platform that has showcased talent, but you know and I know you've been through it. So it's not just talking the talk, you've walked the walk. And you would have experienced some pitfalls. I take it you would have helped, all these other talent that's been putting themselves out there to avoid the pitfalls. But what are the kind of pitfalls that would, I mean, I can talk about all day long, but what kind of pitfalls do you feel are out there facing new talent that are becoming discovered? Yeah, mm, yeah, yeah. I think that is also, yeah, because I know with certain unions which are out there, like the musician union and some equity prospect with Bectu, they have that sort of free legal service where they can have that sort of checkout to make sure you can see if the contract is a good contract, a valid contract, or it's not going to put you into a far worse position. We've heard too many horror stories of they got so popular so fast, but were the contract screwed them over. And do you think that still is that taking place more than ever, or is that like just calming down because of more awareness due to social media and the horror stories that come out in the past? I think TLC was one of the best horror stories. Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Hey everyone, you might be lucky to get safety boots from your employer. And these are absolutely fine to have, but guess what? They don't necessarily have the right supports and can leave you feeling aches and pains, especially in your arches at the end of the day, leading to fallen arches. So make sure you get some arch supports. These are useful. They slip into your boot and give the same comfort as trainers, enabling you to walk around all day long doing all the heavy lifting no matter what the job is that you're doing, and you won't feel any pain at the end of the day. They will leave you feeling really good at the end of the day, so make sure you order yours at the TikTok shop for the price of less than a packet of chips.
Do you feel social media has had a mass effect on that sort of thing? Because you said it yourself, studio time, so on and so forth. When we both were at work, we met many people who were doing the work as a cash flow thing to pay for the stuff that they wanted, the studio time or the podcast equipment and things like that, so they could do these things actively. Do you feel that the social media has helped to highlight a lot of these issues? Yeah. Because this leads on to two other things. This leads on to one, cancel culture. You know, cancel culture has been a big thing because of social media. And the second thing was, and again, I want to get your personal opinion on this one because of the future, which is artificial intelligence. And what we're seeing right now with artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence, automation, all these things, they've been in the background for a little bit of time, but now it's coming to a more, head-on sort of, it's here. We're seeing it. And I remember, I think it was a year or 2 years ago, the SAG in USA, they led demonstrations and writer strikes because of movie studios looking to own the actual facial features in perpetuity of an artist that they could use in movies forever and a day without paying the artist. So that was people signing off. So in terms of the cancel culture, I want to look at that a bit more in the sense that we're looking at artists. So how are you feeling that people can protect themselves from the cancel culture element because of, I don't know, they may say something innocently and may get misconstrued for something completely different. As an example, if I say free Palestine or I stand with Israel, whichever side of the platform I'm on, I could potentially be cancelled. What would you say to something like that? Yeah, because we've seen it with Glastonbury just recently, and you got Kneecap and another artist who were out there that were screaming out about Free Palestine. The BBC is they didn't put forward Kneecap, although Kneecap went out on social media. But the artists that they did put out, Free Palestine. It was absolutely amazing. It was really good seeing that. Again, from my sort of perspective, whichever side of the argument you stand on, I think we can all agree that look, death is it's not good. Things need to come to a speedy resolution as fast as possible. That's my way of thinking. But that leads on to AI, because now we're seeing more programs coming out. We're looking at even AI platforms where they're mimicking voices and changing voices for potential singers. Yeah. 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 Because I do feel that, look, I've used AI. I'm not going to beat around the bush and say I haven't used it. I've used ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek. I've used it all, and it's quite fascinating how ChatGPT in particular is starting to act more and more human. With its responses, it's becoming much more human. Whereas you can tell with Gemini, Adobe, and some of the other AI stuff which is out there, everyone's doing AI. They've all got their AI platforms. And you're right, if you don't do it yourself, you don't learn. You're absolutely right. And I think this is where you can't mimic talent that way. You can come close to it, but you will never beat human talent in that sense. You know, until they get automation to the same level as the Terminator where it looks seamless. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. You know, can you imagine a robot that dances like Chris Brown? But yeah, it'll be unique when it gets to that level, but it's not for a long time yet. But I do feel that right now with AI, it's a benefit and it is a threat. It's down to the individual user of that AI. Because look at all the AI videos we've seen recently with Bigfoot and the Yeti. They're just using that. That's what they're using AI for currently. You know, is to make comedy videos. It's not to actually do. You know, this is typical Gen X and millennial sort of way of doing things. Let's have some fun with it. Then it's not the sinister element behind it. But I do feel that right now with something like this, with what you've got as a platform, do you feel that, I don't know, what does the talent of today need to do to protect themselves for tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. It's interesting you say that because you know me. I also done my little stint in the professional wrestling industry in the UK. And when the pandemic came about, we had the speaking out movement in the UK, where quite a few very famous faces got caught out with the speaking out movement. And it turned out that there wasn't a code of conduct the same way that you'd have with other sporting organisations, like the BTCB, which is the British Type Control Board. Some of the other sporting organisations out there, where they have a code of conduct and a way to behave and treat and safeguard youngsters. Quite a few youngsters were, and I'm talking about under the age of 16, especially girls who were exploited in far worse ways. Those promoters got caught out. But you're right, it does the safeguarding. Click the link, go here, this, that, the other. We know that there's ways of getting promotional material out there where it's not click this link. You can send photographs, you can arrange meetings and things like that with a guardian. But yeah, like I said, I was trying to relate it back to this point is that you're absolutely right. Safeguarding is paramount. Parents need to be looking at what their kids are doing and being actively involved, especially when dealing with what you was talking about in terms of contract, because a lot of the times some people sell the dream. You can go here, but they don't have an action plan, because you can go here will cost you that much money, which I will take away to fund me. And they don't have an action plan at all. Sign this contract. I think the government are addressing that. They have got their legislations coming into place when it comes to not only employment rights bill and stuff like that, because employment rights is also looking to make sure that workers are protected. What I mean by workers is anyone who's getting paid, because again, when I look at the professional wrestling industry, they deter, if unless you was getting paid, you wasn't classed as a worker, and there was a lot of people that weren't getting paid that were putting their bodies on the line. Unscrupulous promoters and stuff like that. Or if you do this dodgy thing for me, I'll put you onto a show. There were some very, very unscrupulous people out there, and they need to be called out. But also the digital safeguarding. I can't remember the name of the act right now, but Labour were looking into that as well, the Labour government. So I think it's a step in the right direction, whereas the previous were talking about it, but weren't putting anything into action. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, faceless profile as well. And I think what you got with the face-to-face live performances, that is being done. And I think that's where things are going to be protected in the future for all talents which are out there. So Your best advice for any talent that finally does get discovered, they are going to sign that dotted line with a reputable agent. Check the contract through thoroughly. Yeah. Hmm. No, no, and that's what I want to lead on to now because we're getting closer to the end of the hour, and you've given me so much time on your day off, which I really appreciate. You've talked about quite a few different things, including how to manage people. How do you manage your sort of time as well with setting up the shows, setting this through, making because obviously people are going to be calling you up and asking you for advice as well. So how do you manage your time with that? I remember. I remember. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Mm. Mm. See, those are practical tips. Those are practical tips. I think anyone who's watching this and listening to this, again, for me, it's not about having millions of viewers or subscribers. If that happens, fantastic. But if there's one person who learns from this, brilliant. That's my job sorted out. It's giving the platform to help anyone achieve their dreams. And you know what? This leads to the next one, which is coming to the end, which is a better tomorrow for your industry. Because of the way how the industry is going at the moment, you're always dealing with talent and try and promote that showcase. What do you see as a better tomorrow for your industry? Is it through regulation? Is it through representation? Is it just growing your platform? Yeah, it does. Hmm. Hmm. So I'm now going to lead to the final part, which is the shout outs, because you've got to give your shout outs to all the guys that came from UK, UT UK, that have either gone to the next level, got signed, didn't get signed, but are still grinding out there. People who are just the unsung heroes within your industry. Just give a shout out to those guys, and then let us know how people can, when's the next show, how people can get in contact with you if they want to go to your shows, and sponsorship opportunities. Is there any particular one that you want? Any particular artist that you can mention? and I'll be sharing the link as well in the description. Please, guys, if you also want to use whatever excess funds that you have, you don't want to give it to the tax man, it's always good to give it to philanthropy. This is a good idea. It's helping out a lot of people in more ways than one. But that's my way of putting it. Ronell, this has been a great experience for me today to have you on the show. It's been lively, it's been fun. The energy is just off the charts. You, sir, are definitely unmatched when it comes to your hard work, your dedication, your passion, enthusiasm and drive. The energy is just there, and I'm so glad to have had you on the show today. So guys, please support Ronell every step of the way. I'm now going to be signing out. Ronell, you take care of yourself, my friend, and always, no worries, and always, wherever you are, guys, like, subscribe, follow, share out, let people know about this sort of thing. And if you want to be a guest as well, get in contact with me. I'm more than happy to interview you if you're unmatched but have been unsung in your industry. I'm always looking for guests like that. If you guys don't know how to do that, then you all need to go back to school. So says Sayed Hadi Naqvi, TUC Organising Award winner in the UK of 2024. This has been Unmatched. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Unmatched Podcast. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback helps us grow and bring you even more incredible stories. And remember, if you're unmatched in your field and have a unique story to share, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me at hadi.naqvi@googlemail.com. Let's inspire others together.